The treacherous ex-boyfriend learns that his wife, Mai Li, has won a lottery for a 50 billion won villa. He begins to hit himself in front of her, begging for forgiveness, secretly planning to reconcile with her and live in the villa forever. When the ex-boyfriend goes to print the marriage certificate as proof of their relationship, he discovers that Mai Li never filed for divorce and that he and Mai Li are still legally married. Mistakenly assuming that Mai Li was waiting for his return, he excitedly buys flowers and goes to reconcile with her. He just reaches downstairs when he overhears the neighbors discussing how the couple moving into the villa received the house right after winning the lottery. The ex-boyfriend becomes suspicious and checks the pictures of the villa lottery at the department store. Although Mai Li had her face covered with flowers and Wu Zhuo was wearing a mask, he recognizes them both instantly. Consumed by the rage of being cheated on, the ex-boyfriend throws away the flowers and rings Mai Li's doorbell. When Mai Li attempts to call the police to drive him away, the ex-boyfriend gets even angrier. He immediately exposes Mai Li for taking the prize using Wu Zhuo as a fake husband, threatening to turn her over to the police. Mai Li was already planning to surrender. Since the ex-boyfriend already knew, she stopped trying to hide and confessed that she had been living in fear these past days and was prepared to return the house after surrendering. The greedy ex-boyfriend wants the house and also wants Mai Li back. He threatens Mai Li by revealing that Wu Zhuo is the grandson of the Maiyang Sungdang president. If outsiders find out that the Maiyang Sungdang heir cheated with a married woman, he would be accused as a fraud, causing great loss not just to Wu Zhuo but also to Maiyang Sungdang. The ex-boyfriend uses this information to force Mai Li to immediately cut ties with Wu Zhuo and return everything to normal. On his way out, he angrily smashes their wedding photo. Mai Li is deeply worried. Just then, Wu Zhuo calls her, wanting to meet. She lies, using the excuse of feeling unwell and needing to rest early. Wu Zhuo hears the low tone in her voice and suspects she might have been hurt by his grandmother's words during the last dinner. Wu Zhuo is thinking about how to cheer Mai Li up when he overhears a staff member teaching another staff member how to please women. He secretly listens in, pulls out a small notebook, and writes down the tips one by one. He then calls Mai Li, asking where she'd like to go or what she'd like to eat. Mai Li avoids him, using the excuse of working overtime on the weekend, saying she'll see him once she finishes the current task. Wu Zhuo believes her and focuses completely on his work. His grandmother gives him the reports left by the financial director before his death and suspects there's a problem with the American consulting company. She orders him to investigate secretly. Wu Zhuo recalls seeing the consulting company's financial report on his uncle's desk once, and how his uncle nervously hid it. He calls an American friend he knows for help with the investigation. Soon, the friend finds out that the consulting company was registered by a Korean woman who also has an 8-year-old son. Wu Zhuo asks his friend to continue the investigation secretly. After arranging all this, he becomes desperate to see Mai Li, so he uses a work-related meeting as an excuse to take her out on a picnic. Wu Zhuo reassures Mai Li that his grandmother's comments last time were merely about her long-term management philosophy and not aimed at her, hoping Mai Li won't worry too much about it. Mai Li, remembering the ex-boyfriend's threat to destroy Wu Zhuo, harshly pulls her hand away from his and states that she has decided not to return the villa. She claims she is a woman who is born greedy for money and has no confidence in facing Wu Zhuo's grandmother's test. On the way back, Mai Li recalls the sweet memories she shared with Wu Zhuo. Just then, a message arrives from Wu Zhuo. In the message, Wu Zhuo apologizes for not paying attention to her feelings, tells her to rest well, and says they can discuss anything later. Feeling Wu Zhuo's sympathy and tenderness, and thinking about how she unintentionally hurt him, Mai Li immediately bursts into tears. The next day, Mai Li attends the discussion for Maiyang Sungdang's 80th anniversary commemorative event. With a heavy heart, she avoids Wu Zhuo's gaze, trying to avoid making eye contact as much as possible. After work, colleagues invite everyone to dinner together. Mai Li leaves early to avoid seeing Wu Zhuo. As she walks, she sees a cactus at a flower shop and remembers the moment she first met Wu Zhuo. She doesn't know that Wu Zhuo is also thinking about the past moments they shared. Those beautiful memories simultaneously grip both of their hearts. At night, Wu Zhuo cannot control himself and drives to the villa. Seeing the lights on inside, he calls My Li. The next second, the lights suddenly turn off. He realizes this is My Li's silent rejection and avoidance, so he leaves disappointed. He repeatedly thinks about what went wrong to cause such a huge change in My Li's behavior. Just then, the company's security guard tells him that 2 days ago, a man with a letter in hand forcefully tried to enter the company, and on his way out, he asked about his relationship with the president. Based on the description of the man, Wu Zhuo suspects that the ex-boyfriend came to snoop around and has found out something. Wu Zhuo cannot reach My Li by phone, so he quickly rushes towards My Li's house. At this moment, the shameless ex-boyfriend arrives at My Li's house again. My Li tells him that she did as he said, broke up with Wu Zhuo, and asks him not to harm Wu Zhuo anymore. The ex-boyfriend, his goal achieved, wants to start anew with My Li. He kneels in front of My Li and begins to hit himself, claiming he is garbage and didn't value My Li properly in the past. He asks My Li for a chance, so they can live happily ever after in the villa together. My Li states that she won't stay with him, nor will she keep the house. Saying this, she stands up, intending to go and surrender to Bae Chang Woo. The ex-boyfriend runs over and stops her, repeatedly insisting that he has half the right to the house and won't let My Li go easily. My Li exposes his true colors, that the so-called reconciliation is only for the house. The ex-boyfriend becomes furious and threatens that if she dares to call the police, he won't spare her or Wu Zhuo. He suspects My Li might be pretending to break up with Wu Zhuo to silence him. Saying this, he moves to hit My Li. Just at that moment, Wu Zhuo arrives, grabs his hand, and stops him. Wu Zhuo stands in front of My Li and tells her to go file for divorce tomorrow to end the marital relationship with this shameless man first. Then he says he will take responsibility for whatever he did himself and doesn't care at all about the ex-boyfriend's petty tricks. The unlawful ex-boyfriend tries to solve the problem with his fists, but he is no match for Wu Zhuo. With one punch from Wu Zhuo, he falls to the ground. Then, Wu Zhuo plays a recording, letting the ex-boyfriend hear the words he said to My Li, exposing his wicked intention of wanting the house. The helpless ex-boyfriend leaves in a rage, threatening that he won't spare either of them. Wu Zhuo turns back to My Li and hugs her. He asks My Li not to easily give up on their relationship in the future for his sake. Crying, My Li apologizes for the cruel words she said. Wu Zhuo passionately kisses her, intending to dispel her guilt and anxiety. Before long, the day of Maing Sungdang's 80th anniversary celebration arrives. Wu Zhuo sees that Bae Chang Woo and the department store representative are also on the guest list. He worries about his identity being exposed. Fortunately, Bae Chang Woo calls, informing them that he has an urgent trip to Japan and expresses regret that he cannot attend the celebration. This time, Wu Zhuo decides he will officially introduce My Li to his grandmother. Once she meets the family, he will surrender and return the house. My Li gets dressed up and arrives at Maing Sungdang. Wu Zhuo quickly takes her to his grandmother. Just as he was about to introduce My Li as his girlfriend to his grandmother, the secretary nearby suddenly reminds the grandmother that a VIP guest has arrived. The grandmother leaves to greet the guest, forcing Wu Zhuo to take My Li to sit down. In the middle of the celebration, Wu Zhuo suddenly overhears his uncle taking Bae Chang Woo's call and learns that Bae Chang Woo and the representative will be arriving soon. He quickly texts My Li. My Li prepares to leave before Bae Chang Woo arrives, but she runs into Wu Zhuo's grandmother outside. The grandmother had already sensed that her relationship with Wu Zhuo was not ordinary. She asks if there is any special relationship between them and if My Li knows that Wu Zhuo is her grandson. My Li admits she knows Wu Zhuo's identity and acknowledges their relationship. She promises to meet the grandmother another day, but she doesn't know that Bae Chang Woo overheard their conversation nearby. After My Li leaves, Bae Chang Woo appears in front of Wu Zhuo. He questions Wu Zhuo about his and My Li's relationship. Are they true husband and wife? This is where the episode ends. For the next episode, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.